Is fear of failure preventing you from succeeding? Probably is. Welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. And today I want to analyze the possibility that your fears are really holding you back. And I know that may sound cliche and you've probably heard it a million times, but how do you turn that into your truth? How do you accept that, yeah, your fear is holding you back? What are the steps that you need to take to embrace that fact, the fact that fear grips you, that fear holds you back? It varies from person to person, and I can only speak from my perspective. And there's right ways and wrong ways of going about this in our spiritual journey. Because we realize that early on, right, that we do have these fears, and everything stems from fear, but we have to stop generalizing fear. Am I afraid of this because somebody else is afraid of this, or somebody else told me to be afraid of this? We have to really start identifying that fear and where it comes from. And how do you do that? First, allow it to be there and acknowledge that you have this fear. We go around masking our feelings and our emotions a lot, for fear of judgment mostly, not from others, from ourselves, right? Because everybody else is a mirror of us. So whatever they're projecting, whatever judgments they're projecting onto you, it's you actually projecting those judgments onto yourself. So the quick and easy way to identify if fear is holding you back and what you can do to change that, to shift that, is to first embrace that fear. And how do you do that? You identify it in the moment. For example, I had a dream last night, and you may say, well, dreams and reality are different. From my perspective, they really aren't. Your dreams are very powerful. It's your subconscious, which is reality for me. I had a very vivid dream that I was with some friends, and I don't recall who these friends are. That's not the important thing here. But we were all together, and we were in somebody's house. And this is going to sound like a scary movie, but it's true. It's my truth, and I'm sharing that with you because I think it's relevant here for the topic of this video. Let me give you a little backstory if you don't already know, and you haven't been following my channel here. I've been on my spiritual journey full on for probably 5 to 6 years. But in the last 3 years, especially right before COVID and during COVID, I started embracing my spirituality and everything that went with it, and learning all these cool things, trying all these new rituals and practices, became a spiritual transformation coach. And how did I do that? I started releasing a lot of fear, a lot of doubts, a lot of worries, identifying them as stories that I told myself or that other people told me. And I gained a lot of courage, and I did a lot of things throughout my travels, and there's a lot of videos here to prove that. Not that I need to prove it, but just, that I've shared, right, to inspire others to do the same, where I just embraced my courage, because I was living in fear, so I was out of balance, right? So what did I do, right? I went from having all these fears that were holding me back to flipping them up on their heads and really embracing my courage. And really going at those things, right? And then tackling them. And I had a lot of growth because of it. But then I got myself out of balance now, because now I was too courageous. And my fear was way down here. And what I've learned on my spiritual journey, he said, we have to have a balance. So you have to have some fear, and you have to have equal amount of courage. You have to have that balance. So my journey lately, and I'm always evolving, is to find the balance. So that dream last night was part of my balance subconsciously, because I was still saying, I have no fear, no fear, I have no fear, right? So in my subconscious, through my dream last night, my friends all went into a room, and for some reason I was outside of the room, and the host was in there, and I just see him go into the room and with a knife. And he said, I'm going to take care of this now. He went in there and killed all my friends. True. This was my dream. And in the moment, I was gripped with fear. Even physically, I could feel the fear. I could feel myself almost waking up in fear. And then, of course, I'm like, no, I'm not fearful. I'm banging on the door. I'm going to go help my friends, which it was already too far gone. The guy opens the door up and has a knife coming at me. What did I do? First, I was like, no, I'm a sovereign being. I'm free. I'm not going to allow this to grip me in fear, which was a good thing, right? Because I didn't react. I didn't just go after him and end my own life. I responded. It's like, I'm going to hold my ground. And then in that moment, I'm like, wait a minute, this is scary. I'm allowing this fear. So instead of reacting and, putting my suit of armor on, right, that I always talk about, I decided to allow that fear to be there. This was very real to me in the moment, and I allowed it. And then I stood my ground and said, I see this situation for what it is. This brought me some fear, and I allowed the fear to be here. Now I'm going to respond with courage. And I just shut the door and locked them in. Because I allowed that fear to be there, but I also allowed the natural response, right? Not the reaction. I stood myself back and said, I'm in this. How do I choose to experience it? The way I chose to experience it was let the fear be there, right? Let my sympathetic nervous system go to work, the adrenaline, all that, But before I acted on that, which would have made the situation worse, I took a deep breath and said, no, I choose not to experience this now. I'm grateful for this experience. And I just shut the door, not courageously shut the door. It's like balanced. Shut the door. And the dream was over. But what I took from it was I have to allow myself to have some fears. I can't push it, suppress it down, right? Because it's there. It's our bodies, it's our resonant vibration telling us, be cautious here. Don't react, respond. And that's what I'm bringing to you. How do you shift out of such a fear mentality, which is also lack, which is also worry, which is also stress, right? Which is also overeating, which is also comfort zone, which is also sitting in front of the television and on social media. Those are all fears that need to be balanced. How do you flip it to gain your courage first, and at the same time still allow the fear to be there when it needs to be, and act in harmony with your courage and with your confidence. And that's also the key there, is have the confidence that you can experience a fear, but you also can conquer it by being courageous in the same moment, at that moment. So one of the things that I can give you to practice this is, first, be mindful that it is a fear, whatever it is. It could be in a relationship, fear of losing a relationship, fear of losing a job, fear of starting a job and failing. Fear of failure is a big one, and that's the focus of here. In my dream, I was afraid of failing to help my friends. When in a moment there was nothing I can do to help them, that was already done. Right? So it's about having that fear. Don't let it grip me, but having the courage to save myself. To not allow myself to experience that. So that's what I'm offering you here. It's the ability to be in that moment. What is that fear? Right? Identify it before you react to it, before you let it grip you, or before you stand on your on your morals and your confidence and your courage and beat it down away. Right? That just doesn't work. It doesn't ever go away because you're just spiritually bypassing. I don't need that. You don't scare me. The reality is that it doesn't scare me, but I can allow that fear to be there. I need that balance. So, and it all comes down to the same things that I always talk about on this channel, right? You have to take those deep breaths. In that moment, that allows you to take that fight or flight and to balance it with calm and rationality, peace. In a split second, you can shift the situation from going out of balance in one way or the other to bringing it back to even. But that takes awareness and it takes some willpower and strength, because you have to convince your ego and your conscious mind that it's okay. I can have this fear, but I also have the courage to face this fear and to handle it in this situation, not with a reaction, not with an overreaction, not with an underreaction, just a balanced approach to handling it, seeing it for what it is, analyzing, realizing, where did that come from? Was this a learned behavior, right, from watching those scary movies? People, running away and tripping over the log and, all of a sudden they're dead. How did that influence you, right? Because all those things, all those images, they're influencing you consciously and deeper subconsciously. And from my perspective, that's what they're meant to do, because how do you control the masses? Fear, right? You control the emotions, you control the person, or the masses, or the people. But this isn't about the masses, this is about you, and what you can do to help yourself in this situation. See that you're in the situation, allow it, but in that moment, you have to decide to respond to it. Now, if it's a dangerous situation where you have to run, you got a split second, right? But don't just run in any direction. Have a kind of a plan, okay? I'm going to get myself out of this immediate danger. Then when I get myself situated, I'm not going to let that situation become me. I'm going to sit with it, handle it. If I have to call the police, whatever the situation is. But do it not from a space of fear, but a space of response and handling it and experiencing it. And this all may sound very like, oh yeah, easier said than done. And it will be harder done than said in the beginning. Because you have to repattern your thought process in the moment. You have to shift your old limiting thoughts and your old reactions. And how do you do that? Repetitively, catching yourself, being aware of it in the moment, deciding to shift it in the moment. But when there are moments where you just let the fear grip you, just be okay with that. Don't beat yourself up. Oh, I'm still scared of everything. No, you're still processing. You're still teaching and retraining yourself and reprogramming yourself to be okay with it. That's how you shift. That is how you shift your old self into a new self that's balanced. Sometimes you have to go farther in the other direction, right? And then gradually bring it all back down to even. And that's what I'm doing on my spiritual journey. That's what I can share with you as a spiritual transformation coach. I can show you the steps that you need to take and identify those things and mantras that you can use, and using your calendar as a goal setting tool, right? And goal setting, right? These are all integral parts and baby steps to shifting your fear of failure to success, but a balanced success, not one where nothing ever goes wrong in your life, because it's not about going wrong. It's just about the experience, right, that you're meant to have, that keeps you even keeled, balanced. So if this topic interests you and it reaches you and inspires you to really want to identify those fears, I can certainly help you do that. I can use my experience and the tools that I have to help you stop yourself in every moment, to coach you through those moments when you don't think you can, so that you don't see them as failure again, so that you see them as steps, right? And how to congratulate yourself and honor yourself through the whole process. And once you set your goals, I can help you stay accountable to yourself to reach those goals. Not see them as failures when you step backwards, right? But to honor yourself for giving yourself the space and the time to heal yourself in a way that's going to cure you, that's going to heal you, that's going to shift you, that's going to transform you, and it's going to help you create the life that lights you up, so that you're seeing some of the fear, but you're also courageous, and now you're in balance. It can be that simple, but it's going to take some work. So if you're willing to do the work and invest in yourself, it's my honor to share my experiences, the things that I did that may not resonate with you, but we'll figure out things that do resonate with you based on your needs, your lifestyle, and what you want to accomplish. It's my honor to assist you in that. So here's the link to my website. Go ahead and put your email in there for a free 30-minute decompression session, and let's talk. Let's see how we can help each other. It's symbiotic. Trust goes both ways. So you are worthy. You are worth it. Don't see failure as failure. See it as opportunity. See it as experience. See it as an opportunity to grow. And stop allowing fear to keep you in lack, to keep you worried, to keep you stressed. It's time to balance that out. Sometimes we got to find our courage to do that. Find your courage, you'll find your strength, and you'll find your balance. Have an amazing day. And if you like the contents of this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel. Truly blessed and grateful. That keeps me in balance. It helps this inspirational message reach those that will be inspired to take action on it, right? Because I'm just sharing my experiences, and if they help you, great. It's my honor to do so. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me. Have a blessed day.